This video tutorial from exocad will show you some of the new functions of exocad's new release, version 2.2 Valletta. With more than 30 new features, as well as 130 enhancements to existing functionality, the Valletta release represents the largest expansion of capabilities in exocad's history. If exocad Partial CAD is installed as well, you will find a new action button, Design Partial, in the Dental DB, as the Valletta release features support for our Partial Framework module, which is now available. A separate training video about partial framework design provides additional details. exocad's Valletta release includes several new enhanced demo samples, which now mostly come with texture scans. Furthermore, you will find 4 demo samples for the Partial CAD software. For this tutorial, we will select the demo sample called 3-Element Bridge Virtual Articulator Copy and Paste Sample. The treatment preview and details are now integrated in the Load dialog instead of in a separate window. We have added some more details to the notes of the demo samples, including web links to related tutorials in our YouTube channel. Our online collaboration platform Dentalshare has been significantly upgraded. If you don't have an account yet, you can easily create it within the software. The Dentalshare service can be used free of charge as long as you have a valid update contract for your exocad license. When sending a case, you can select the type of service you desire, and you'll see the list of your Dentalshare contacts that currently offer the desired service. Choose the service and contact, then click OK. In your account settings, you can both define the services you provide yourself and add contacts to exchange cases with. Dentalshare is more than just data transfer. In Valletta, Dentalshare now allows two-way communication. A status bar will now show up, informing you of the exact case status. Orange means that your case is still being uploaded. Light green indicates that the upload is finished. Dark green with a detailed status bar confirms that the case has been received by your contact. The status bar displays the various processing steps at your partner's facility for the services you've requested. As a Dentalshare member, you can be both sender and recipient of such cases. For cases you receive, you can send these case status updates to your customers and thus provide your clients transparency and better service. Once the case has been shipped and your partner has provided a tracking link, you can easily access it by clicking the Shipped button. The job list now displays the latest status of cases sent. Under Details, the entire process history and conversation can be viewed. You can also send messages and attachments through Dentalshare, which are associated to a specific case. For the Virtual Articulator module, additional articulators have been added to the Scan Mode drop-down menu. Let's now proceed with the design and check out the new features in the CAD application. First, you will notice that we have improved the compatibility and rendering for textured and colored scan data. Furthermore, you can adjust the lighting using the right mouse context menu of the Color Texture button. For non-textured scans, we have changed and improved the colors as well to make them look more realistic. When you switch to another view angle or custom view, the transition is now animated smoothly. You can adjust the transition duration by selecting Settings in the Tools menu and changing the View Transition Duration slider position. User-defined custom views now have an advanced right-click context menu. Here you can set the view from the opposite side. Furthermore, you can now correct and overwrite an existing view. Many new hotkeys are now available. Control and the middle mouse button hides the object under the pointer. Control-Shift and the middle mouse button displays it again. Shift and the middle mouse button toggles the transparency of the object under the pointer. Alternatively, you can use the Group Selector hotkeys. For example, type A to hide and show the antagonist, or type S to hide and show the jaw scan. Almost every object type has been assigned a hotkey. Tools can also be activated with hotkeys now. Control-D activates the Show Distances tool. Control-R activates the Measurement tool. Control-P activates the Show Clip Plane tool. These are just the most common hotkeys. You can find a full hotkeys list in our exocad wiki. Let's now have a look at the Virtual Articulator. The Virtual Articulator now allows a flexible selection by brush or click on the tooth to mark certain areas that shall not influence the articulator's movement. You can find this new option in the Which Teeth Influence Articulation dialog. Here, you can now define regions with a brush. Adjust the brush size, and paint the regions you prefer to be ignored during movement simulation. It's also possible to select entire teeth with a click, or even to select entire meshes. You can reset or invert all your markings. Here you can see how the marked regions are excluded from the movement. The antagonist simply penetrates the unmarked regions of the jaw scan. This function can be used for different reasons. For example, if you know that a certain tooth will be extracted or adjusted later. Let's now proceed to the margin line detection by using the hotkey Control and Spacebar. You may notice that in this demo sample, there is already an existing margin line displayed in orange. This happens if you have defined a margin in the model creator before. I will clear this margin line, as I want to demonstrate the improved usability of the preparation margin detection points. Margin points can now also be moved with the mouse and deleted similar to the points in free drawing mode. As usual, points can be added easily with a left mouse click. But now you can also delete them easily by right and then left clicking them instead of clicking Remove Point in the wizard. With Control and the spacebar, I proceed to the next tooth. You can use Control and Escape to go one step back. Let's define the margin line for tooth 4-6, too. Proceed with Control and the spacebar to the next step. There are no new features in the crown bottom step. But as the insertion axes are already defined, I want to benefit from this situation to show you some other interesting new features. Let's have a look at the new advanced context menu in the Group Selector, Show Hide Groups. For example, setting the view to an existing insertion direction, or to the occlusal direction, or to the mesial direction. Let's start with the occlusal direction. And now let's try to set it to the insertion direction of tooth 4-4. To do that, first choose the correct mesh type, in this case Preparation 4-4, in the Group Selector. Click the right mouse button, move to Rotate View to, and select Rotate View to Insertion Direction. Now the view is set parallel to the insertion direction of tooth 4-4. Let's repeat the same on tooth 4-6. Now the view is set parallel to the insertion direction of tooth 4-6. There are so many other view options, I will not show them all now, but try them out. Let's check out a last one together: buccal direction and top axis. We have released a first prototype version of the Cut View feature in exocad version 2016. In the Valletta release, it is now generally available in the Tools menu as final version. Furthermore, we also have added advanced context menu options for the Cut View in the Group Selector. In the right-click context menu of the desired scene object, select Show Cut Here to define the position of the cut plane. You can even tilt the cut view plane exactly to match the insertion direction. The vertical lines in the cut view window are parallel to the insertion now. By holding the right mouse button and dragging left or right, you can rotate the cut plane around this axis. Let's proceed with the wizard. In the Valletta release, the Copy Tooth step now starts with Direct Copy as target instead of Virtual Pre-op. You will find more information about this wizard step in a separate tutorial. The True Smile rendering for non-textured scans has been improved as well to make the scans look more realistic. A new HD tooth library is included in the new release with higher resolution meshes for maximum detail. Additional features have been added in the freeforming step. At first, you will notice the new button, Cut All Intersections. Clicking this button will perform occlusal, proximal, and gingival adaptations using your default settings with a single click. Alternatively, you can use the hotkey Ctrl-X for this operation. The following lists some of the popular hotkeys in the freeforming step. 1 and 2 to toggle Add Remove or Smoothing. 3 and 4 to toggle Cusps or Tooth Parts. 5 and 6 to toggle Entire Tooth or Ridge. The Distance Visualization tool has a new mode for displaying contact points. This option will show adapted contact points in blue. I will undo all of the modifications to be able to show you some new features in the proximal adaptation. There's a new feature called Disc Cutter. By default, this will place 2 discs at each end of your restoration or restorations aligned with the insertion axis of each tooth. These can be used to create flat areas in the region of your proximal contact points. Hold the left mouse button on a disc to change its position. Use the blue arrows to tilt the disc in 2 directions. Add 1 or more discs by clicking the Add Disc button. Delete discs with the left and right mouse button, or use the button Remove All to remove all discs. Hold Shift to set the control point of a disc to a desired position on the scanned surface. With Control and Shift, you set the center control point of the disc to a desired position, and the software will set the disc parallel to the surface where the point has been set. This way, you can define the proximal contact points. Using the blue arrows, you can tilt the discs to create a flat interproximal region, which ensures a proper insertion of the restoration. Use the disc thickness to apply a gap to your proximal contact points. Now, click Cut Intersections to cut the flat areas on your restoration. Here is the result. Let's undo this operation, as I want to show you an alternative method to create perfect proximal contact points. This feature is called Block Out Neighbor Collisions. To demonstrate what this feature can do, I'll add some material in the proximal areas. Ensure that you have checked the Block Out Neighbor Collisions checkbox. Then click Cut Intersections. As you can see, the undercuts on the adjacents have been blocked out while respecting the path of insertion for the restoration. And the interproximal regions have been adapted to this blocked out area. Obviously, the same would work with the common path of insertion. Let's undo the modifications again and have a look at another feature found in the attachment dialog. In the Valletta release, it is now possible to add text to restorations. Select Text at the bottom of the library list. Select if you want to add or emboss text. Type the desired text into the text field. Place the text at the desired position. Use the left mouse button to drag the text. Use Ctrl and the left mouse button to rotate the text. Alternatively, select the Rotate button to rotate the text. You may use the sliders to adjust the size and thickness of the text. Then, click the Apply button. To emboss text, click the Remove button. Type in another word. Place the text at the desired position. Now, adjust thickness and size. Click the Apply button to finish the operation. Here is the result. Now, let's have a look at another feature, exocad webview. Those who have a Dentalshare account and a valid update contract can share true 3D previews of their CAD designs directly through the web. To do this, click Share Scene via Dentalshare webview link. For additional security, the 3D files may be password protected. Select No if you want to include all meshes, and Yes if you just want to include only the meshes displayed in your scene. The preview HTML file will now be uploaded, and the Dentalshare Uploader window provides a link to access this file. Simply copy this link to the clipboard and share it via email, messenger, or SMS. Your partner can simply click the link or paste it in the web browser. The link is valid for 30 days. Without installing additional software, WebView works with common browsers on both desktop PCs and mobile devices. Additionally, WebView apps are available for Android and iOS. Visit https://webview.dental/demo to download our apps. A password must be entered if the link is encrypted. The preview will now open in your default browser. exocad webview was tested with the latest versions of Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Opera, Edge, and Internet Explorer 11. The 3D files can now be viewed right in the browser, and you will find the main visualization functionalities as you know them from exocad's CAD software. Show or hide scene objects with the group selector. The transparency of the scene objects may also be modified to enhance the visualization. In the Tools menu, you can change the language. And you can toggle between normal and texture mode. Let's come back to the tools in the DentalCAD application to show also an alternative offline solution for sharing your 3D preview. This feature is called HTML Export. You may want to use this feature to transfer files via USB stick. If you want to include all meshes in that file, select No. The additional HTML file is created in the project folder. This file can be shared later on a USB stick, via email, etc. Double-click the file to open it in your default web browser. No additional software or license is required to open this file. exocad WebView and HTML supports all types of open mesh data and point cloud data. For example, .stl, .obj, .ply, .off, .eoff, .xyz, .xyznb, zip files containing mesh data, and exported DentalCAD HTML scenes. While in expert mode, one of Valletta's highlights can be accessed in the last wizard step via the right mouse context menu. It's the InCAD nesting module for CAM export with multi-layered blank rendering with true smile support. Select Set Production Blank. InCAD nesting in exocad allows the user to select and position production blanks during the design process. This is particularly important when using layered materials, and furthermore, it allows to check that the reconstruction will fit into the desired blank before sending to manufacturing. The blanks are listed and sorted by materials and design. If a blank is placed using InCAD nesting, position and specification of the blank are exported in the .construction info file, so that it can be used by both exocam and third-party CAM systems to position the reconstruction correctly for milling. Hold the left mouse button to drag the blank. Hold Ctrl and the left mouse button to rotate the blank along its Z-axis. Hold Ctrl and Shift and the left mouse button to rotate the blank along all axes. And now use this function to place the blank so that its layering corresponds to the desired layering of the restoration. The blank's color and size can still be changed in the Production Blank window. Use the slider to change the layer visibility on the restoration. Click OK to finish and save the blank's position. Valletta's Model Creator comes with some new important features. For models with regular preparations, you can now individually design the insertion axis for the die that is being generated. Click on the Dies tab in the Plateless Model Design step to define the insertion axes of the dies. You can set each insertion axis individually or set all from view into a common direction. This process will take a bit longer than you are seeing here. It's accelerated in this video. And here is the result. One of the Model Creator's most important improvements is the ability to generate separate gingival masks on implant models. Click on the Masks tab and Add in the Plateless Model Design step to add a removable gingiva. You have very precise control where your gingival mask begins and ends, and you can then set and generate this separate part to be printed, for example, in a more flexible material. The software automatically detects which implants have been surrounded. To add another gingival mask, click again on the Add button and repeat the process. Click the Remove button to remove a gingiva. There are also different parameters to control the shape. For example, you can add nubs for better retention. This process will take a bit longer than you are seeing here. It has been accelerated in this video. And here is the result. The possibility to add gingival masks to designed models is also available for models with a base plate, such as the Baumann EVO system. In this case, it is not necessary to draw the margin for the gingiva. Instead, the software automatically generates a gingival mask for an individual segment of which the respective implant is located. Of course, you can toggle this per implant basis. This process will take a bit longer than you are seeing here. It has been accelerated in this video. And here is the result. Thank you for watching this video.